call the meeting of the Capital Investment Committee to order here on Thursday, August 28th. It is 3:33 in the afternoon, and we'll call this meeting to order. And we'll begin this meeting by setting the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda?
I move to set the agenda as written.
Motion's been made, but not yet seconded.
Second.
And seconded. All in favor of setting the agenda?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? We can do a voice vote on the agenda set, yes. Moving on to the section of the meeting for citizen comments. Are there anyone in the audience that would like to address this body? I do have one speaker card from Ned Dannenberg. So your microphone is on, I believe, and we can hear from you.
Thank you. This is to follow up on our discussion from Tuesday night about the striping and median project at 96 in Royal Oaks. So just wanted to revisit because it is an area we've talked about before, lots of crashes, and was identified as the high injury corridor on the Safe Streets for All project. So what that means to me is that improvements really need to be benefiting safety for everyone who uses the road. And I worried that sort of the place we're at now where we're just converting the shoulder into car lanes isn't quite enough because we don't have sidewalks for people. So the little bit of area that you might have had to walk or bike along the side of the road is now getting squeezed out. And just to sort of set the scene, between 65 and Carruthers, we're talking about, it's a mix of your gas stations, fast food restaurants, the medical center. So, lots of places people might need to get between different businesses and not necessarily be in the car. So, the Shell station on the north side, or on the south side, I think the north side's like MAPCO, Sonic. Walgreens, I guess, when it was built, has a sidewalk to nowhere that doesn't connect to anything else. And then once you're down to like the Steak and Shake and O'Reilly's, the sidewalk disappears again. So I have been talking, Max Baker with Engineering's Multimodal has been great about identifying some of these gaps. He's working on a price tag for what it would actually cost. I think there are like drainage issues and stuff going on in front of the way it slopes in front of Steak and Shake. So I worry if the price ends up being far in excess of what the sidewalk gap fund could usually fund, it would be something that hopefully could come back to you all and you all could put a priority on it as well, just to finish out that corridor and improve safety for everyone in a spot we're really worried about. So thanks so much.
Thanks, Ned, for coming tonight. Anyone else that wishes to speak to the body? Seeing none, we'll call the citizen comment section of the meeting closed, and we'll move on to the approval of the minutes from last month's meeting. Consideration of approval of minutes from the July 24th Capital Investment Committee meeting.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. I have to do a voice vote here. Yes? Or roll call vote. In favor of the motion to approve the minutes, beginning with Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
And Alderman Caesar votes yes. The minutes have been approved. Moving on to new business. Consideration of ordinance number 2025-24, an ordinance to amend Title 23 of the City of Franklin Municipal Code to revise definitions, clarify requirements, and to correct grammatical and typographical errors in the stormwater management ordinance. Paul.
So this revision, the main key revision that kind of drove us to do this, is essentially requiring permittees to remain under stop work order until they actually pay all civil penalties. A lot of times they try not to pay their civil penalties, and it takes us a long time and a lot of effort to collect on them. This way they'll remain under stop work order until they actually pay that civil penalty, which they also have the ability to appeal to the city engineer and the Stormwater Appeals Board. The rest of the changes are very minor in nature, correcting typos and grammatical errors. Jeff Willoughby is our stormwater manager. He's here today in case you have any specific questions regarding the ordinance.
Thank you, Paul. Any questions from the board?
No, move for approval.
Motion for approval has been made. Anyone wants to second this or have no for discussion?
I'll second.
Seconded by Alderman Berger. Any discussion on the ordinance?
No.
No discussion, seeing
Thanks,
that,
Tom.
none? Alderman
I'm
Brown?
just, obviously you can tell I'm sitting here going, wait a minute. So you're talking about people having bonds, civil bonds, and they're not paying them?
Not bonds, civil penalties.
Penalties.
So it's when they have.
Because I've got some people who are like, they won't release my bond, and now it's
No.
moved into this. And
Yeah,
so I'm
the-
just making sure I'm not.
This is when they've done something, and I'll give an example at a certain subdivision. They constantly were discharging stormwater onto residential single-family lots. We put them under a stop work order. They pulled off the site. This continued for months. And weekly, we're giving them they're incurring additional civil penalties. And so they ultimately still have not paid us. And they got lawyers involved, and ultimately they're back out there working, and we weren't able to collect on it. Although for months on end, these residents were impacted by the poor quality of development that was happening in this specific example.
We're talking about one off of Lewisburg Pike?
One over near Carruthers Parkway.
Okay. Just making sure I'm in the middle of talking to somebody. I'm like, I don't want to be the one that, oh, by the way. Okay, heard. Thank you.
Any other discussion? We'll take a vote. Alderman Brown?
Yes.
Alderman Blanton?
Yes.
Alderman Berger?
Yes.
Alderman Caesar votes yes, passes 4-0. Moving on to item number 4, consideration of ordinance number 2025-31, an ordinance to establish a no parking anytime zone along the south side of Alpha Drive from Beta Drive east to and around the extents of the cul-de-sac. Paul?
So there's a body shop.
I think I'm sorry right now.
There's a body shop on Alpha Drive, and it has caused a lot of parking issues, and they tend to stack all their vehicles up on Alpha Drive, and it's caused lots of complaints from the other business owners out there. We did have a petition. Daniel Brady from our street department was instrumental in helping to get that petition done. We had the vast majority of the property owners agreed to it, minus the body shop. And so therefore, given the number that have signed on to the petition, we're recommending approval to do it on one side of the street, the south side only. And this will allow for fire trucks and ambulance and police, and will also accommodate their business is like, for example, Smyrna Ready Mix has large trucks over there, and they struggle at getting in, getting out as well. So at this point, we are recommending approval.
Sorry, that. And so the parking will still be allowed on the north side of the road
Yes. they'll
at
still be-
any time?
Anytime.
Okay.
Question.
Question, Alderman Blanton?
Are we particularly talking about putting the signs on Alpha Drive or Beta too?
Just Alpha, south side, where you see the orange is where the petition area was.
Okay.
And so we would restrict it in the cul-de-sac. They're actually parking in the cul-de-sac at 90-degree angles. They're really stacked. Our fire trucks can't make that turn the way they're parking there. And this will allow it to actually be enforceable.
Okay.
Okay.
Any motion?
Move to approve.
Motion's been made
Second.
and seconded by Alderman Berger. Any discussion on the motion?
No, good.
All right. Voting on the motion to
Yep.
approve. Alderman Berger, how do you vote?
Yes.
Alderman Blanton?
Yes.
Alderman Brown?
Yes.
Alderman Caesar votes yes, passes 4-0. Consideration of, moving on to item number 5, consideration of draft resolution 2025-67, a resolution declaring an existing section of pedestrian access easement in the Stream Valley PUD subdivision, generally located in between lots 282 and 283 of Stream Valley PUD subdivision section 9 as surplus property and authorizing its disposal by the city administrator. Paul?
So hopefully you can see the exhibit that I have up. This purple line represents where there is that access easement. After a request came from the homeowners, we kicked it to the HOA and developer. And the HOA, the developer, and the two property owners are all in agreement to get rid of this access easement because it isn't ever going to be constructed. The developer does no plans to build it. And so given that there's no further use of the city of Franklin, our recommendation is to abandon this easement, and it was not a requirement of the development to build it. So at this point, it serves no use to us.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion has been made and has been seconded. I have a quick question on that. Paul, can you zoom? Sorry.
Yes, I can.
Can you zoom out? I just want to make sure I'm oriented correctly.
It's going to take a minute.
So that parcel to, I think that we're looking kind of south and north is at the bottom of the page. Am I correct there?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, that parcel to the north is the county, correct? It's undeveloped?
Doesn't matter.
So the parcel, the
South.
purple line is easement, the parcel to the south is the county, the darker brown.
Okay,
It'll scroll out even further.
got it. Okay, I thought we were on the other end. Yes, that's fine. And so the intent of originally generating that was to provide access to that parcel if it developed?
I think it was to provide some type of connection there, and the trail system actually looped back over to another road. Regardless, it wasn't a requirement that they build it, and the developer has decided that they didn't want to pursue it.
Okay. Motion's been made and seconded. Any other questions on the item?
Good.
Alderman Berger, how do you vote?
Yes.
Alderman Blanton?
Yes.
Alderman Brown?
Yes.
And chair votes yes, 4-0. Moving on to item number 6, draft resolution 2568, a resolution declaring an existing section of right-of-way known as Corporate Center Drive, generally located north of Cool Springs Boulevard and west of Carruthers Parkway, as surplus property, and authorizing its disposal by the mayor and city administrator. Paul?
So the landowners would like to do something different with this cul-de-sac here. The cul-de-sac is really required for fire access to turn around and large vehicles, and because they want to remove the cul-de-sac, they have agreed to submit a site plan and they want to take ownership to this road, and it will just essentially be managed privately. And they're going to come through a site plan platting process to get rid of it, so it'll still meet all of our development requirements. And so we're recommending approval to declare this as excess and then let them repurpose this land the way they'd like to as part of site plan review process.
With the chair to entertain a motion.
Yeah, motion to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Alderman Berger, do you have
Yeah.
a question?
Okay, I'm looking at this somehow, I can't bring this up, my computer's not working. So I'm looking at this little thing. Is that the cul-de-sac back there by the Hilton?
Yes.
So the Hilton's to the left?
And that can.
So I'm in the cul-de-sac, Hilton's to the left. The business, corporate businesses are straight to the front and to the right. You go, yeah, I'm trying to pull this up. I'm not sure where you're talking about. on
So
it.
here's Corporate Center Drive off of
Yep.
Carruthers Parkway.
Yeah, and what part do they want to abandon of that?
They want to abandon the whole thing and then just make it a private access, private roadway. There's some confusion with this cul-de-sac of how vehicles enter and exit and people parking on it, and they want to put it in more like a T
People
intersection.
parking in it.
And so since it's not meeting our standards, they've agreed to take it on as private.
Okay, so wait a minute. This is going to remain totally open.
Yes, they're going to
But
put
who-
they're going to put a public utility drainage access easement on it as part of the platting process, and it will be maintained by the business entity there the same way, the same method as Compass Way is maintained now.
So
That
who's
section's private as
maintaining it?
well.
Hilton and the
It'll be that
office?
business association,
Oh, their association.
their association.
All right, so then they'll be responsible to pave it, maintain it. It won't be gated, but it'll be maintained, it'll be owned by them.
Correct. And it's what they're requesting.
And do they have buy-in by all those entities on that
They do.
board?
Yep,
They
they're
do.
all on board with
All
it.
of them?
Yep.
Okay, all right, then I'm good. Thanks.
Any other questions?
Yep, okay.
I just had one quick question. It's not gated now, but in the future, if it's a private road, do they have the ability, if they so chose, to restrict public traffic
But
there?
it's a hotel.
I guess they would, but given the uses there, there's no way they would ever gate it.
Yeah,
Yeah, didn't we just approve new restaurants and stuff right there?
Yeah, we did. There's some
Yeah.
development and
Yeah.
revitalization.
We
of
allow
Meridian.
private roads that serve these business areas versus a residential subdivision, we would recommend
yeah.
against that.
Yeah.
And they're not going to gate it because it's a
Yep.
hotel back there and
Sure.
Right.
that would be, people come and go.
business, yep.
People come and go all the time.
Correct.
Yep.
Okay,
All right.
good.
We have a motion on the floor. Alderman Berger, how do you vote on the
Yes.
motion? Alderman Blanton?
Yes.
Alderman Brown?
Yes.
And Alderman Caesar votes yes. Passes 4-0. Moving on to item number 7, the consideration of amendment number 1 to City of Franklin contract number 2017-0293 with Ford Coletta LLC for road impact offset agreement for an amount not to exceed $1,659,193.
So this is really changing the name, who we're, have the road impact fee offset agreement with, from Coletta Park Subdivision LLC to Ford Coletta LLC. It also revised, because they're trying to increase their unit count, we've revised the amount that they could potentially offset for the improvements that they're making to Old South Carruthers Road. And we are recommending approval.
Chair's looking for a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, moving forward to the vote. Alderman Berger, how do you
Yes.
vote? Alderman Blanton?
Yes.
Alderman Brown?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, passes 4-0. Moving to number 8, consideration of City of Franklin contract number 2025-0221 with CSX Transportation for Lewisburg Pike Sidewalk Project. Paul? Not Jimmy, Paul.
So this is the final process of being able to get this project to go out to bid, is we have to have an agreement with CSX that covers the preliminary engineering costs that they did, also for flagging operations during construction, and then also for the construction engineering inspection that they'll perform while we're out there doing the project. And as a reminder, this is that sidewalk gap section that goes from Collins Farm to north of Stewart Street. And all the right-of-way has been acquired, so once this is in place, we'll be able to go to bid and close Lewisburg down as soon as we open it back up.
That's going to be great.
Thank you, Paul. Looking for a motion on item number 8.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded by Alderman Berger. Discussion? My only question is, appreciate this particular topic with the transportation, CSX Transportation. We are opening Lewisburg right back up. Are we going to be able to do some of the sidewalk work and the railroad work without completely closing?
We're going to do it in 2 phases. The part north of Stewart is phase 1, and we can still detour traffic down Stewart, which I know those residents are not a huge fan of. But eventually, to do the CSX crossing, we're jacking and boring multiple utilities underneath the railroad tracks. And when we do that project, we'll have to shut it down. And we're replacing all the water, upsizing it, and same with gas. And right now, they're actually moving the overhead electric, if you go out there today.
Moving it for
Moving
this
it
project?
For this project, yes.
Not putting it underground?
Not putting it underground, but they are co-locating, so we're getting rid of some poles. They're bigger, taller poles, but that's been coordinated with the property owners. They've signed off on the easement, so they're all very well aware of it.
I know folks are going to be happy to be able to get across the train tracks on the sidewalk.
That'd be great.
I don't have any other questions. Looking for a vote on the item. We have a motion to approve. Alderman Berger, how do you vote?
Yes.
Alderman Blanton?
Yes.
Alderman Brown?
Yes.
Passes 4-0. Moving on to item number 9, consideration of City of Franklin contract number 2025-0312 with Tennessee Department of Transportation for Mac-Hatcher Parkway Multi-Use Trail.
So about a year ago, we submitted for a grant to get TAP funding. We still haven't heard the results of that. However, this is that gap section of Mac-Hatcher between Hillsborough Road and Franklin Road. The first step to get federal funding is essentially to get into a contract with TDOT local programs, and that's what this agreement is. It shows 100% of the funding right now to be the City of Franklin, but what we're trying to do is go through the NEPA process, the right-of-way process, which there really shouldn't be any right-of-way, and get all those approved, and then hopefully have TAP funding in place within 2 to 3 years to where we can go to construction and build this section of trail.
Okay. Move to approve.
Motion is
Second.
made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion?
Got a question.
Yes, Alderman
Since I
Berger.
can pull this back up, I can't remember. So it's only going to be on one side?
The trail system?
Yeah.
Yes, one
Yeah,
side.
Is it on the,
South side
South
or
side? Or is
inside
it-
of Mac-Hatcher.
Yep.
yeah, inside, but it's on the south side?
Correct.
So it would be going from
The church there, just west of Franklin
to
Road
Hillsborough?
to Hillsborough, the park system there, wastewater treatment, the clean water facility over there that has that trail system.
Right.
Where to tie into, where it goes
Oh, yeah.
under the bridge and then tie into it where it continues west
Yep.
over the Harpeth River.
I get asked about this
That's good.
weekly.
Yeah, I bet you do.
That
Good connection.
that intersection at Hillsborough and Mac-Hatcher is one of the prime starting points for bicyclists and trails and all that. So it's that gap at Phil is going to be really, really critical, isn't it, Ned? So believe me, a lot of
Good.
people are waiting for it.
That's good.
Now, if we can just get really nice crossing system across to Spencer Creek and over to BGA and those neighborhoods, that will be fantastic. We'll work on that next.
I'm with you there.
Okay, perfect.
And I need a sidewalk on Oxford Glen.
Yes.
We'll arm wrestle.
Somebody was,
Do you want to add?
While we're asking, I don't know.
somebody was pushing a stroller down the road the other day. A stroller. I'm like, no. Can't do.
Well,
Anyway, okay.
so motion has been made. We'll look to vote on the motion. Alderman Berger, how do you vote?
Yes.
Alderman Blanton?
Yes.
Alderman Brown?
Yes.
Alderman Caesar votes yes, passes 4-0. Number 10, item number 10, capital projects dashboard and status updates for August 2025.
So I'll touch on the two big ones we have and answer any questions that you have. McEwen is going great. They are really, really moving material over there. Vulcan is doing an outstanding job. They're getting ready to blast in the next 2 days. They've completed their pre-blast surveys. I don't think,
Are they?
I've blasted in subdivisions before and gotten 0 complaints. So if they're doing their job right, there shouldn't be any problems. And that's why they got Players Mill and Road to the Round Table closed. And they're working on getting the gas line in right now. And they're making great progress out there with the utilities. Moving on to Southeast Park and Robinson Lake. Again, Robinson Lake is going really, really well. They got the lake almost dredged out, and they're moving a ton of material.
Good.
So very excited about that project. And then Southeast Park, we got off to a slow start, but they've brought a bunch of equipment out now, and they're starting to really, really move dirt. So that's a good sign, and things seem to be
Pearl.
going good.
Good. It's gonna be great.
I was like, we gotta start naming these
It is
things.
the Pearl.
Call
The Pearl,
these
sorry,
things.
sorry, the Pearl.
calling it Southeast Park.
I know.
Yes.
A point of
Sorry.
clarification on that naming, is that for the park and the water treatment facility over there, or are we going to assign that
The
name?
complex has the name of the Parolean and Bransford complex, but the park is the Pearl.
Yeah, the Pearl.
Okay.
It is inclusive of the
Pearl.
park. but
And the
entire-
inclusive playground has a name too.
Yes, it does.
And
Not you.
I assume then that would also mean that the water treatment facility will have a distinct name?
Sure, it'll be named after you.
I don't think
It will
that's,
probably not have a
No, Matt.
Caesar's-
that's
Caesar's
what we
Palace.
can do.
Caesar's Palace.
I was thinking Hilti's Home.
well, it does have a nice ring to it.
Good job.
I think Caesar Palace is.
I don't
right.
think that's a.
Caesar Palace.
Oh my
I like that.
That was really good.
Bev, we're live.
Well,
Where else could you get a royal flush?
that's right. But,
Wow.
hey, the audience at home needs to know. He's been dying to use that. Give him a reason.
I appreciate that. Any other questions on capital
No, I
projects?
think- Sure, why not? Let's keep it going.
I did have a question,
Go ahead.
Paul. I was going to ask you about the update on Columbia. I know there's been a lot of discussion on that. And yeah, so is there a progress update? How are we moving forward on right-of-way acquisition?
We're moving great. I know we've settled 1 or 2 tracks. I know we're moving some to condemnation as well. The appraisals are coming in, and we have a consulting team that's doing all of that because it's reimbursable. And so they're making good progress on that. It's a lot of tracks, though, so it's going to take some time.
For sure, I understand that. Appreciate the continued update there. Alderman Berger?
Could you please, I've asked, I don't know how many times on this, to revisit Carruthers Parkway when you're going south on Carruthers Parkway and you hit 96. Hospital's right there on your right? So when you hit 96, those 2 lanes furthest to the west on the right, one has got a turn arrow. The other one, I don't even know if it has an arrow, but I think it's straight ahead. We need a straight ahead and a turn arrow on that because a lot of times traffic is going that way and we have 2 lanes there and we're going to be improving all that. But there are people sitting there wanting to turn, but they can't because, it's a straight ahead. And if somebody's on the forefront of that line and they're going straight ahead, that's fine. They're just going to sit there like they do around town. There's other places like this. And they're just going to wait and then they're going to go straight ahead. Obviously, somebody behind them knows they're going straight ahead or they would be turning, right? So when the lights, you can take a right turn on red when it's safe to do so. Those 2 lanes, we need to move traffic. And those 2 lanes can be turning because we have all these people coming down from north on Carruthers that are traveling down that way. So we need to move that traffic.
I will look at it with the new resurfacing project that we're getting ready to do. I know the issue in the past had been the turn lane is so short that the through just queues up and nobody can get to it anyways, and it doesn't seem to make a difference, but I will re-engage with the traffic engineers to see if the additional laneage helps at all.
Well, sometimes you have
And
people-
it honestly, I don't know that it's going to hurt if we add it.
I don't
I don't know
think
that
it's
it's going to
gonna
help
make
either, so we can look at it.
The only time when it helps is when people leave Nissan and leave the other places of work and they're headed south, they want to get on the interstate to head south. They're sitting there and they cannot go anywhere, and the right turn lane is going. And these guys could be also turning right if I've watched them, I've been in the right turn
Are you
lane.
talking about Walgreens?
Yeah, by
I'm trying to figure out
Walgreens.
where you
Along
are.
Yeah.
Walgreens,
Yep.
If you just had a turn, you have a turn arrow on that right lane. The second right lane, one further in, needs an arrow that goes right and goes straight.
Okay,
You have an option.
we'll look at
And
it.
if
and-
somebody's sitting there and they're going straight, that's fine, they're gonna sit there. But if all those people, or 2 or 3, are up there and they have a red light, but it's safe to turn right, they can go ahead and turn and we can move traffic.
Yep.
We need to do that.
I'll look at it for the 96 project. It'd be
Yeah.
easy addition.
You do it, especially with the improved shoulders.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions?
Anything else from Ward 1? I don't think so.
I think those are the big ones.
Big ones, yeah.
Yeah.
We have the big one. And the one we talked about this morning. Okay.
Any other questions? The only other question, Paul, we talked about it briefly, was the stoplight, the favorite stoplight at Lewisburg and Donaldson Creek. There's been
Oh,
some.
is there going to be a stoplight there?
I've heard there's been one that's been approved. There were some questions,
keep
questions
looking
about
for it.
timing on it. Well, you're not alone.
It's moving forward well. We've started to get the overhead utilities raised up. That actually might be
Another
done.
light.
I haven't been out there to check it.
Another grid.
And I know that they've ordered all the equipment that they need.
There is spray paint on the ground, so it shows that things are happening. There's some spikes out there.
That was for something else.
Yes.
That was
It takes a long time to order that equipment. When they get out there and start working though, it'll go really fast.
You sure you don't want to send it back and do roundabout? Be easier, move traffic.
all right. So moving on to any other business to come before this board.
That's surprised you didn't give me the gavel.
I reached for it. Any other business? Seeing no other business,
Motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn has been
Second.
made. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. We are adjourned.
Thank you.